All right, what is up, party people? And welcome to our channel. We're offended, you're offended. Hope everyone had a great weekend. So, Tyler,
Is
where are
that
you at today?
is that what we call our whatever our audience, or is that what you're calling them? Party people?
Yeah, I don't know. It's Sunday. I figured, maybe everyone was out partying because the restrictions lifting and stuff like that.
Oh yeah. Okay. I got nothing.
Welcome to our
Yeah.
channel.
Yeah. Yeah. Um.
How are
Yeah.
you doing today?
How am I doing? Good. It was a long drive. Um. into Winnipeg, but no, I came through BC, which is still being ravaged by all the forest fires. There's a lot, and I gotta give a shout out to the firefighters and all the people that are trying to fight those and trying to save people. And I seen, and this isn't really on the docket, but I seen articles that people were refusing to leave like immediate danger zones.
Seriously?
Like, the fire is there. It is coming. It is like it's here. Get the fuck out. Like, you feel the hot. You see everything's on fire. Get the fuck out.
I don't know how
But
people could not leave. Like, okay, I understand. Like, I wouldn't want to leave my home and stuff like that too.
fuck that. I'm gone.
Well,
I'm gone.
well, no, I'm just saying, like, I can understand you not wanting to go, but there's immediate danger coming. Grab what you can, grab your shit, grab your kids, your spouses, your pets, get the fuck out. All that stuff can be replaced. Lives can't. Like, get out.
And just like there's always, like, the people that are so stubborn about hurricanes and tornadoes, and then just like at some point, like, and I maybe this is the difference between like my thought process and like a first responder is, at some point it's, fuck it, dude, you're on your own. I'm sure that sounds super uncompassionate, but like, if you're making a decision to stay, okay then, like, that's your decision. But when you now have to put like first responders, like, you put people unnecessarily in danger, like,
Well, yeah,
I don't
because they're
know.
trying to get you out of there. They're trying to make sure that you're safe and you're just not wanting to leave. And I mean, at that point, 100%, like the first responder should just leave. But could you imagine how hard that would be? Like, if I was a first responder and I'm going to somebody's house and be like, hey, we got to get out. There's fire coming. Y'all are going to die. Like, we got to move. And people don't want to leave. Like, it would be so hard for me to walk away from them and not be like, you guys are being fucking stupid, and force them to get into a vehicle. But at some point, you
Well,
have to just, okay, well, I have to take care of myself. I need to get out of here too, or I'm going to die just trying to save you guys. But how hard that would be to actually, like, walk away from that knowing these people are going to die.
I don't, but it, like, so, like, one, I guess, kind of one misconception that people have is police aren't there to protect you necessarily. Like, if you're getting, you know, murdered, police don't really have an obligation. Like, if it's like an active shooter, they are under no obligation to help somebody, policy wise. Like, they don't have to go in there and guns ablazing, kick in doors, and get shot and killed. They'll try to mitigate damage. Like, there was that famous story I remember seeing out of, what was it, New York, where a guy was wielding a knife and there were police just standing and watching, and people lost their minds until they finally figured out the police aren't here to help you. And that's a US thing, and I'm sure in Canada they're very similar. Like, we're very similar in a lot of our policies, but they have to take like officer safety, or the like EMS safety into account. That's why, like, you'll never see like EMS and police are showing up to an active crime scene together. It's police going first, secure the scene, and then like firefighters, EMS, or ambulance. Then they arrive once the area is secure, so that they can do their job. Shut up.
Are you okay? Are you hearing
My phone.
voices?
No, my phone just made a sound for some reason.
Oh,
Muted. Yeah, maybe at some point they just gotta like, hey, we can't. I don't know. Yeah, it's such a weird situation. But anyways, yeah,
I'm
BC is on fire. Um, and it's crazy to see. Like the fires are right there, like on Highway 5, like the Coca-Cola. Well, I guess between like Kamloops and Hope, anyway. Fires are right there. Like there's the
should
highway. Bloop. There's the fire. Bloop.
should have taken some photos. I
I
mean, I know
did,
you're
but
driving, but
no,
can't
I
really.
did take some, but all over the place they had like no stopping period. Like you get the fuck out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was. Then, yeah, all around like the Okanagan Valley. Yeah, all those. It's all farmland there. Like it's all agriculture around there. And I was speaking with one customer, and he said, "Yeah, we had an evacuation order, and we had to get out of here." I was speaking with another guy, and so I was pointing at the mountains, and I just asked him, like, "Oh, how are you guys managing with all this stuff?" I said, like have the mountain or have the fire come this way, and he pointed at the same mountain. He's like, "That's all burnt," and it was just like a massive chunk. And he's like, "Yeah, that's all burnt already. Like that's all gone." And I was just flabbergasted. Just yeah, this is all charred. It's all, but like it's weird because mountains look so close, but yet they're so far away. Like just in terms of like how big they are.
Yeah.
Like they look like you could just reach out and just grab it. It's almost like a cloud. You know, it's like it's right there. It's right, like it's within reach. And no, that like the top of it is it's like kilometers away. Like you just just the sheer size of it, and just you feel it's almost humbling to be in the mountains because you're fuck all. Like say like especially like around like the Revelstoke area, it's all mountains and it's all heavy forest. You could just walk. I would say maybe 10-15 minutes. Like from Revelstoke into any direction, you're gone.
Yeah.
Like you just disappear.
Yeah.
But
On a
yeah, it was
side
just
note, did you know that mountains are the one thing that my Baba is actually scared of? She's never gone to
oh they're
BC and she won't go because mountains actually scare her. I think it's so cute.
no they're I don't know why they'd be scary. Scary.
I don't
That'd
know.
be scary.
I never really got to ask her why she's so scared of them. I kind of laughed. I think I said why, but I think she just said they're just so big and they're coming out of the earth and it's just scary. I don't know. It was
Well,
cute.
Baba, have you seen your pee?
She's like, I mean, my Baba's like 94, 96 or something like that right now. So,
Oh, did you not did you hear me?
no, sorry.
Oh, I said, well, Baba, you should see my penis.
Oh, jeez. Run away screaming because it's so big.
And it's huge. It's so huge.
You sounded like Arnold Schwarzenegger there.
Oh, thank
Or
you.
Trump. No. When you do your Trump voice. When you're like,
That's
so
my Trump
huge.
voice.
Yeah. You do a Trump voice.
Frankly, my penis. Some have said I wouldn't say it, but some have said my penis is gigantic. I wouldn't say it, but I've heard from some other people. All right. Anyways,
Shout out to the
yeah,
firefighters. You guys are doing an
yeah,
awesome job risking your lives to try to
yeah.
save everything.
Well, there were some city or some towns, Highway One, which is Fraser Canyon. They're gone. Like their towns are just gone, and these are, little towns that you drive right through them. Like it's Highway One. It's the canyon. Like, and for people that don't know, like when you're in BC, like especially from Kamloops to Hope, like you have three directions you can take. Well, I guess Highway 3 doesn't really, but you can either take Highway 5, which is the Coquihalla, which is the pass. You can take the the canyon, like Fraser Canyon, and that's Trans Canada. That's actually Trans Canada Highway is number one. And then Highway 3 is, if you have a death wish, you take Highway 3. Because then you take Highway 3, goes up 97, and yeah, you eventually get back to number one. But yeah, Highway 1 is just ravaged, just destroyed, and it's crazy to see. But
Jeez.
yeah,
I can't even remember how
um,
many fires are going in Manitoba right now. I know there's like my mom's saying that there's like 150 or 160 active fires going right now. It's
wow,
pretty crazy. Yeah, northern Manitoba is pretty much under fire. So, yeah.
you mean on fire?
Yeah, true.
Yeah, I'm seeing 120. Yeah, that's the number that I'm seeing.
Jeez.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, and there were some reports of like you see like the bombers going in, they go along the lake and then they pick up the water. And then there was helicopters flying around with their giant buckets, and there were some articles saying that the bombers, the water bombers, had to abort because there were too many people on the lakes. Which I don't know, like how much they do in terms of like awareness. Like, hey, there's an active fire. Planes are trying to scoop up the water, and I wonder how much of that is actually done, or if it's just kind of like, hey, you should know that the province is on fire. Don't go in the water, because there was just so many people were boating,
Yeah.
and yeah, they ended up having to call off the water bombers from coming in.
See,
Oh,
that's
see, but
that's
now
not
I'm
good.
seeing 137. Okay, so anyways, there's a lot.
So many. Pretty much
Yeah.
Canada is on fire,
Wow.
right? Well, it's crazy. We've had such a bad drought. Like, I don't even, I think my mom had said that there was like a little bit of spittage that had happened rain wise in the city a little while ago, but out here, like, we have not seen rain. Like, it's been, God, I think like close to 2 months now, or I know it's easily a month and a half that we have not had anything out here,
Yeah, that sounds about right.
right?
Yeah.
It's
Where
crazy.
is this? Oh, there's Saskatchewan? Oh yeah, I guess just all of Manitoba or all of Canada's on fire. I didn't realize it was that bad in Saskatchewan. Just BC, Manitoba, and Ontario are getting the bulk of the attention.
Yeah, media doesn't care about the
Really?
prairies. I'm like, fuck the prairies, let them burn.
Well, where is this? Okay, Prince George. Okay. Oh, they're all. Oh yeah, well, it's all northern Saskatchewan, all north like Prince Albert. Did you know in Prince Albert it is customary to get a bolt through your dick?
Excuse you?
In Prince Albert, the town, Prince Albert, Saskatchewan, it is customary that you get a Prince Albert.
What does that even mean?
Prince Albert is when you get a piercing through your dick.
That's not real. I mean, maybe,
Look it up.
no. That's it
Look it up.
customary, like you're supposed to. That's what you do
Yeah,
if you're a man.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what you're supposed to do in Prince Albert. That's where the name came from. Did I lose you? All right.
No,
So,
I'm
anyways,
Googling.
okay. So, I guess before we get started, people, if you want to like, share, subscribe, don't hit the notification bell because it's fucking dumb. But let's get into some sweet stories. We got some pretty good ones, and then we have one that personally touches my heart in ways that I don't. A lot of things don't. But okay, so this was from CTV News. It says seniors are cut off from income supplement after receiving emergency benefits. So in Ottawa, Chris Sherlock is facing possible eviction because of an unanticipated clawback to the guaranteed income supplements for seniors. The 65-year-old resident of British Columbia's Cowichan Valley drew on emergency benefits last year after the COVID-19 pandemic wiped out his part-time work as a musician. Now the $2,000 a month in Canadian, the CERB, Canadian Emergency Response Benefit, he received through much of 2020 has rendered him ineligible for the income supplement typically available to low-income seniors. Sherlock is quoted as saying, "This comes as a complete shock to me. No one warned me that I would be losing my guaranteed income supplement based on this. There was nothing about having your pension cut off or cut in half for the next 2 years." NDP and Green Party say they've been flooded with calls from Canadians 65 and up who suddenly find themselves cut off from monthly government payments due to the pandemic benefits. In a letter sent to 3 Liberal cabinet ministers. Oh, Bill Blakey. Oh, Bill Blakey, hey? Mr. Blakey said many seniors who receive the CERB and Canadian Recovery Benefit either do not qualify for the guaranteed income supplement or face drastic reductions. Blakey called for a prompt solution and hoping that the federal government will change its approach to slashing guaranteed income for seniors. So, I remember, I say a lot of dumb shit, but I remember everyone that was getting this money, just wait. Everything that the government hands out comes with a but. Everything comes with a but.
And a big
You'll
price
get this
attached.
CERB. Yeah. Oh yeah, there's strings. The government don't do shit for no one without government getting its money. But the thought I had was the money that's going out, the government's going to want it back one way or another, either through taxes or cuts somewhere. Obviously, something is going to have to balance the scale. You can't deficit spend your whole fucking life and then expect that everything's going to be hunky dory. But Mr. Daniel Blakey, what riding is he in? Seems like a certain riding, the Transcona Elmwood riding. You know, a certain riding that. Anyways, all right, I'm not going to get into it. Not going to get into it.
Are you sure?
But in kind of in typical this is there's a bit of an aside to this. NDP is famous for they don't want anyone making money. Period. If they could actually run companies at a zero profit margin, oh, I'm sure every NDP MP would probably die from the massive hard-on they got. Their heart would probably stop working with how thick their dick got. But anyways. So, seniors will continue to receive their full old age security and CPP pensions which in Sherlock's case add up to 783 after the government knocked nearly 500 in what's GIS? GIS. Guaranteed income supplement. Yeah. So this is why I don't trust you. I don't trust the government. I don't expect the government to do shit for me. This is why, like, CPP is going to be bankrupt. It's going to run into a massive deficit. I know the central bank has been just eyeing. I think we have $550 billion in CPP. And that's supposed to be everyone's safety net, old age security. This is why I don't trust the government for shit. Because now when you're reliant on somebody else to give you money, wow, you're kind of at their beck and call.
Okay. Hold on. So am I understanding this correct? Because of the money that they have put out.
What, NDP hates money? Yeah.
No.
Yeah, NDP hates money. And they get their dicks get bigger the less money a company actually makes.
Okay, well that's not what I was trying to say. But anyway.
Oh.
Am I getting
Liberals
this?
Are kind of close too.
Shush.
But conservatives are kind of starting to go that way that we don't like taxing people, but hey, we have this cool new program where we tax you, but it's not a tax. Remember, it's not a tax.
Okay, hi.
Sorry. Anyways.
Oh my God, can I talk now? Thanks. So am I getting this correct? Because of stuff that happened with the government giving out money during the pandemic, the seniors now, they're losing their money?
Yeah. Yeah. No, well, it's so for single seniors, the guaranteed investment or income supplement, the benefit kicks in if they make less than almost $19,000 annually with a monthly maximum of $936. The eligibility threshold for couples is $45,000.
Oh my God.
So this is balls. I forgot the fucking point I was gonna make. When you become reliant on somebody else's decision, and I guess this is why I don't trust government, I don't trust that they have my best interest at heart with this type of stuff, is because of stuff like this. It's strictly stuff like this. Taxes change, prices go up. Well, now you're stuck with whatever peanuts the government gives you. So, yeah, what?
Okay, but what? Like, what? How can they do that?
How can they not? You're reliant on them.
Okay, but
that's the thing.
Okay, but it's in the freaking name of it. Guaranteed income supplement. How are they taking away their money?
So this was the program that was designed to help some senior citizens. So now they apparently had made too much money. Told you, government is going to ask for that money back with interest. They're going to.
Yeah, well, they can pay it back.
They're either going to cut back. What?
I said they get paid enough. They could pay it back.
Well, no, they can't. That's why we're over $1 trillion in debt. They can't pay it back. So the funny thing is, government shut you down. They said you cannot work. You're not allowed to have a job. But we're going to supplement you as though you still had a job. So you see, like, this is like a double, like, kick punch to the balls. So you can no longer earn an income. We're going to replace that income. And the second kick in the balls, we want that money back.
Okay, but this is okay. This is, I think, where I'm getting confused. So this GIS, is this something that came from COVID? If you can't work?
No. Guaranteed. Is income tested? That means the previous year's taxable earnings, including emergency benefits, factor into how much gets doled out on the next payment period. So it's like all your stuff from last year affects this year. So the guaranteed income supplements. Let's look up exactly what that is.
How are two people, okay, a monthly maximum of under $1,000, and the threshold for couples, so that's combined, is $45,000 a year. How can anybody live off of that? Rent itself is like over $1,000 a month. It's not including food.
This is why you don't rely on the government. I wouldn't trust them to run a fucking bath, let alone any program anywhere ever.
Okay, but I get that. Like that's you, and that's a lot of other people who don't trust the government. But this is things that people have put trust into the government through the years because we're going to do this for you, we're going to do that for you. Yay, it sounds great. Let's sign on. And that, like, this is disgusting. Like, I'm sorry, but like when COVID hit, what they did to the seniors and how they just literally let them die, and now this. That's disgusting.
You mean like the old care homes? How COVID patients were put in there, and now the age of death was like higher than the age of life expectancy in Canada. Yeah. So this kind of the cynic in me. Put your tinfoil hats on, everyone. Maybe I've talked about this before, but put your tinfoil hats on. What if? Okay, what if? What if, to cut back on costs, what if a couple of people that were, they're gonna die anyways, right? Like, what if we just kind of, give them a little,
Oh, it would surprise me in the slightest, and that's what's disgusting. Like, they put those younger COVID patients in with older people, so then the older people will get sick. Like, they already were doing it. So, like,
that's
blatantly.
That's a bit of my. And then, speaking of Daniel Blakey, the NDP. So the NDP were looking at, and you know what? I'll say this: I'm looking at running in politics in a few years. So if it happens, great. But anyways, Daniel Blakey, the NDP. So Transcona, if anyone in Transcona, if you're listening, if you complain about how old care homes are underfunded, understaffed, under everything, they're basically glorified jails for old people just to die. They want to reduce. They want to stop for anything for profit. So any money that a care home gets, anything above like their operating costs, they want that money to go to the government. Which, you know what? Call me ignorant, and I can see the argument for it, because when you are only operating for profit, well, now you start cutting costs. You start cutting corners. Maybe grandma doesn't need 3 meals a day. She could do it 2.5. But I don't know. I think if you don't have an incentive to be good or great or the best, man, you get our, like, the Canadian healthcare system. It's mediocrity at best. So Daniel Blakey and the NDP, instead of charging a place and getting a nice place and people are happy and proud of their job, what do you get? Our healthcare system is beyond fucked because, well, it's all single payer system. So, you think old care homes are shitty now? Well, don't let them make any money, and then they can be overregulated by the government as always.
It just makes me so angry. These people have worked so hard and busted their ass off their entire lives to make the government money, and this is how they're treated.
So, but CPP, it's a Ponzi scheme. It's a Ponzi scheme. It's 100% a Ponzi scheme. Some at the top make a lot of money, i.e., our government.
Yeah.
The people that are lower on this pyramid. So, pyramid schemes are illegal. They're illegal. You could go to jail for multi-level marketing, where one person makes a lot and then it all kind of, the whole like trickle down economics stupid idea.
Yeah.
So some people at the top make a lot of money, but you need to keep feeding into that system. So the people at the bottom, which is the working class now, the people that are working now have to feed into that system. Well, now that the baby boomers are retiring and they're starting to collect, I think when the CPP was started, it was something like 10 workers to every one retiree. So there was 10 people feeding into this machine. Now that those people are retiring, look at what's happening. They want their just desserts. Well, now the generation that's coming up, or the generations, the millennials, the Gen Zs, the blah blah Zoomers, now they have to try and feed into this system too. Well, now there's going to be less and less. This is why, dude, I don't trust government. I'll forever. Well, I shouldn't say. Maybe I'll say it forever. Never say never. But it's a Ponzi scheme. It's a fucking Ponzi scheme.
Makes me
Yeah. Did you die?
No, this makes me angry. I was trying to be quiet.
Oh.
Just
Oh.
my blood is boiling.
Yeah. Well, and you know what? Government, like I said, you should be in it for yourself. That I know that comes across as selfish, but you have to take care of you. It's like our government throws billions of dollars, or Justin Trudeau's big failed, push to get back on the UN Security Council. Well, their claim was he didn't do enough for humanitarian aid, so he spent billions on this project, giving money to other countries. While kids are being now found that have been Epsteined. Well, I shouldn't say that they've been Epstein, but they've suddenly just disappeared. And oh, look, it's an election here. Oh, look at all, we've had them all. We're bringing them all home. How weird!
Surprise!
Yeah, the reserves are no offense, and I don't think it's the fault of the communities. A lot of them are just shit. So instead of trying, you clean up your house before you go clean your neighbor's house, right?
Generally, that's what you should be doing.
Right. Yeah. Like you take care of yours first, and then you help. Yeah. But no, we send billions of dollars to other countries. We send billions of dollars. We fund China. We fund India. We fund a lot of third world countries. And anyone that says that China is a third world country, biggest economy or second largest economy in the world, which is expected to surpass the United States by, I think, 2028 now in terms of exports.
Oh, would not surprise me in the slightest.
Yeah. So we're funding a third world country.
Yeah, right. For them to be even better positioned than we are, which makes no sense. Like 100%, you should be cleaning or taking care of your own house first, aka Canada, not literally just yourself. Like take care of Canada, take care of the people, the Canadians, take care of us first before you start sending money to other countries. Like to me, it's so ridiculous and annoying. Like you're just it doesn't give a shit about us. Whatever But let's go help them
No.
because it looks good. It looks good. Yeah. We're just gonna give them shit.
And a lot of this money, like third world countries, like you're third world for a reason. Your government's corrupt, your police are corrupt, your politicians, you're a dictator. You know, there's a lot of reasons why third world countries stay with third world countries. And yeah, okay, we can get into the whole thing that, you know, certain governments, you know, poke and prod and regime change wars. Yes, we can. I understand that. I'm not an expert in it. I don't think anyone is. But I understand that. But, you know, there's this big push in Canada for renewable energy. You know how there's a port in Delta, BC, full of coal. Full. Like, it's mountains of this shit that Canada is still extracting. That we ship off to China. And I'm not trying to like brag on China. Man, they're killing it. They're gonna take over the world because we're too busy being fucking hippies and not recognizing the issues that are in our rear view mirror. Not even our rear view, they're on our side view mirror. They're coming up and they're passing. They drafted, they, you know, sucked in, they followed around that last turn and they're going for the pass now. Shout out to my NASCAR buddies. So, like, this is an issue that is coming up. We export coal. We don't like gasoline coming from Canada, but we'll take gasoline from, you know, third world and second world countries, and we'll do that. And it's such a weird thing, you know, not in my backyard, but it's cheaper. It's cheaper to do it here. It's cheaper to do it in Canada. And we have standards, we have regulations that we would adhere to. Like if a government or if a company goes in and strip mines a whole place, the amount of paperwork it takes to do even like exploration drills, there's like environmental impact statements, land recoveries, there's so much work that goes into this. And people are so up in arms about gasoline, about coal. You still dig out coal. We're still doing the crude petroleum, but everyone's all solar panels and wind power. Those two things are highly inefficient. Like, they're shitty efficient at best. And you know, they want to shut down, they don't want nuclear power plants, which makes no sense to me. We don't want to develop any new technology. Like, I wonder if people in Toronto know how much of their power comes from a nuclear reactor. You know, the same thing that they complain about with Chernobyl, with Fukushima, 3 Mile Island. In terms of, I remember watching a thing with regarding like nuclear power and like traditional gasoline or like petroleum. Something like 100,000 people a year die from either a direct cause. Most of it, like I'd say probably like close to like 95% of it is indirect from like petrochemicals, like, you know, gas, diesel, blah blah blah. It's a ridiculously high number of people that die from it. And I mean, like, in terms of like smog, of exhaust fumes, of, you know, that type of stuff. The stuff that it's almost like cigarette smoke. You know, people, well, it's not, it doesn't really kill me. Like, we're so fucking narrow sighted with like the quick return, you know, the feel good, the pill that's going to make you thin, the other pill that's going to make your dick bigger, the pill that's going to put your hair back on your head. We want that instant gratification instead of looking in the future. like coal power, like that stuff, the coal and like the gas products, that stuff. It's gonna go the way of the dinosaur. It's going to, and the fuel or the solar power, wind power. Trust me. Hey, you know what? It makes me feel good when I drive past a solar farm. Yeah, it makes me feel good. But I understand how fucking dumb and inefficient it is. How much it costs. Like I remember, what was it? Was it Germany? Germany, I believe, is all solar power, or is it France? Can't remember which one now.
I don't know.
But they have rolling blackouts. Like if it's a hot day, their system can no longer handle it. Now they have like blackouts or brownouts. So I don't know. I wish people would take like a serious look at nuclear power. Like it's literally pennies on the dollar. And the only thing that comes out of those stacks is steam. It's water. Like in Manitoba, like we're actually quite beneficial, or it's beneficial for us that we have a lot of lakes and a lot of rivers. So we have a lot of hydroelectric dams. But holy crap. I know Quebec, they don't want to drill, or they were cutting off oil gas lines. But so here, I'm already all over the place. So you're welcome. Alberta is known as Canada's, it's oil, gas. That's our energy province. Like
Which makes no sense to me. How we literally have stuff in our own backyard, but we don't use our own gas. Like how
no,
the
they would.
fuck does that make sense?
So and in terms of like carbon footprints, hey, think of those giant ships that have to go to these other countries and then ship it here.
Yeah.
It still has to be refined here. It's just we pump the crude out of another country. So would you rather not get it from a place that has laws and regulations, and people are very conscious about like the impact, like the environmental impact? If a company, causes a massive spill, I think they should be fined for reclamation, for returning the land to how it was. I don't think that's unreasonable. Like if you cause a problem, if you have damages that are in the millions, the billions, why would the taxpayers be on the hook for it? That was, but so Quebec, they get transfer payments from Alberta. So this is like social, like welfare system on a countrywide scale. Alberta makes a lot of money. British Columbia makes a lot of money. Saskatchewan makes a lot of money. Manitoba, I don't know, what do we sell? Potatoes?
I don't
But obviously, but anyways,
know.
so the money that they make is taken from them and is sent to other provinces. It's a welfare system on a countrywide scale. The haves have their money taken from them and is given to the have-nots. And Quebec, being the separatist capital and the big complainers that they are, they said they don't want it. They want the money. They don't want that pipeline going through their province, though. Talk about having your cake and eating it too. All
Right?
right, say something. I've been talking for like the past 15 minutes.
I don't even. I don't know if this is all bullshit.
Isn't that crazy?
It really is.
Okay, so yeah,
I think I'm giving myself whiplash because I'm just shaking my head so much right now. Like I can't even. I don't understand. I don't understand the logic. I don't understand the stupidity. I just don't fucking get it.
And like I was seeing this thing with regards to Chernobyl. Like Chernobyl was a people fuck up. That was people. People caused that. And then the government tried to hide it. I think for what? Was it 3 days? I believe the government was hiding it while radiation was spewing out of this completely failed nuclear reactor. They didn't tell anyone about it. I think it was England finally picked up radiation readings. I believe it was England. And I said, what the fuck's going on? Our readings are going berserk. Then Russia finally had to admit that, hey, they made an oopsie. And in
That's
terms of
actually kind of
people,
crazy.
what was that?
That's crazy. I didn't realize that it went on for days.
Oh yeah. What's actually really crazier? The what's it called? I think it's called corium. See, from like the not last episode, but I think the episode before where I said like stupid fucking rabbit holes.
Yeah.
I was learning how nuclear reactors work. I don't know why. But there's a it's called corium. And that is when like metal melts and it ends up getting infused with all these different particles, and it's a new thing. So corium inside reactor 4 in Chernobyl is still hot. That thing Chernobyl happened in what, the 80s? I think it was 84.
How is it still hot? Has no one ever turned it off?
You can't. It's
Why?
an absolute 1986 is when it happened. Yeah. 1986 is when that nuclear power plant went critical.
Why can't they turn it off?
Because it's just so. All right, this is a dumb man explaining something very complex. But so the fuel rods, they naturally want to break down. So like little pieces of them, like at the atomic level, shoot off at a very very small. That's normally what atomic means. It means very small at the atomic level.
Okay.
But
I didn't know
so
that, so thanks for that.
you're welcome. So these uranium rods, they naturally want to break down. So what they learned is if you put these rods in, it's basically a steam generator. So when this reaction is happening, it's always happening. This reaction, and so what they found is, well, if we put things around it that would absorb this reaction, it generates heat. So when things get hot, just as like with a steam generator, it starts turning an impeller, which generates electricity. So, what fucking point was what was I saying about it?
Why they can't
Oh,
turn
why
it
they
off?
can't turn it off. Right. Okay. So they have these things called control rods. So if a oh, what is it called? I don't know, but if it keeps generating heat and it no longer so these control rods regulate how much of this reaction is actually going on. So you can they insert them, they lift them. There's a bit of a dance with it. So if a reaction starts happening too much, well, they can insert these control rods and it'll stop the reaction. So it'll put it into a shutdown state. So if my memory serves from me going down these stupid rabbit holes, with Chernobyl, they were doing a shutdown test. Or I guess if like an emergency shutdown. And so I think they ended up removing the control rods too far, if I remember correctly, and it started to go critical. The system started generating too much heat and it was starting to melt down. And something happened. I think one of their backup systems failed, and when they ended up trying to get the control rods in, it was already a runaway reaction. It was generating too much heat, they couldn't shut down. And the cooling system wasn't enough to cool it. So it ends up generating so much pressure, there's so much of a reaction now going on that it boils off the water. So the water that is being steamed is also, if I remember, is used as coolant to help keep everything cold. So it starts boiling away all this water. Well, now it has nothing to stop the reaction. And it gets hotter and hotter, and then eventually, well, if anyone knows about, if you pop like a bag of popcorn, in that, like the foil, the Jiffy Pop thing, well, it starts to expand and more and more. And as more and more pressure builds, it's got to go somewhere, and it went out the roof. And so it's basically a nuclear reaction. Like these fuel rods are just melting, and they're still hot. Almost 40 years ago, 25 years ago. But this corium, the stuff that eventually melted through and was actually eating away at concrete, it's still hot. And there's a thing in there, if you want to look it up, it's called the elephant's foot. And it's still hot to this day. And the amount of radiation that it shoots off is quite substantial. So, yeah. But so I like arguments, and even Fukushima.
So with this being still giving off heat and stuff like that, is there a possibility that it could blow again?
Probably, like it's not super hot, but it's still hot. It's not. I don't think it's to the point where it's actually could boil off water. Like it's just like metal and corium. See what corium actually is. Lava-like fuel-containing material is a material that is created in the core of a nuclear reactor during a meltdown accident. Resembles natural lava. So, yeah, it's basically just a leftover from when a nuclear plant fails.
That's crazy that this long later it's still hot. Like, does it?
Yeah.
I don't know. Like, does it pose any sort of risk still? Is it still making
radiation?
Yeah.
I believe that's the only thing in there that is still radioactive. Otherwise, I think most of the plant, actually, I might have this wrong, but I think part of the plant is actually still operational. But I might be wrong. Don't quote me on that.
I don't think so. With all those monsters that are there. I mean, I've seen Chernobyl Diaries. Clearly, that was a documentary.
Yeah. Yeah, that was. Yeah, it was crazy the mutations that happened with all those within that documentary.
I know, right? It was super creepy.
But even like, when people compare, like, the Fukushima disaster and Chernobyl, like they compare, that's the comparison that people go to. One was people fucked up and like government failed. With Fukushima, nobody died from it, directly from the nuclear plant failing. So, in terms of technology, like that's totally different. I think Chernobyl had something like 70,000 people were directly affected from it. Like whether it was the plant workers or the rescue workers or the citizens of Pripyat, and and then in terms of like Fukushima, there were none. There were a lot of people that.
That was a more recent one, wasn't it?
Was that 2011, 2013?
Yeah.
Fukushima.
Yeah, 2011, March 11th. Okay.
Okay, yeah.
Well,
Yeah, so that one, like, nobody directly died from that. At least what I've been able to find. And I think even part of the plant is actually still. I think maybe that's what I'm confusing the two with. I believe the parts of the Fukushima is like it's completely operational, but it's in a shutdown procedure. So it takes a long time to stop the reaction of those fuel rods. But there's people that like walk around it, like right where that reactor failed. People are walking around it. They're doing the cleanup. They're dismantling it, and there is virtually no radiation emitting from it.
oh yeah, it says here, okay. Japan has observed a moment of silence to mark the 10th anniversary of the earthquake and tsunami that killed more than 18,000 people and triggered a nuclear meltdown in Fukushima. Wow.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, yeah. It was like a 15-meter high wave from the tsunami, and I was like worst case scenario. And yeah, they actually it kind of did its job, kind of.
Well, I mean, at least you know
But
that that one wasn't the stupidity of people, that that was just nature that
okay,
triggered that.
so yeah, it was because of the earthquake. It was a massive earthquake, and then the massive tsunami.
Yeah.
Yeah, so according to Wikipedia, it's saying there were 16 people with physical injuries due to hydrogen explosions, 2 workers taken to hospital with possible radiation burns.
That's it.
So
That's crazy.
18 people, and I believe all of them survived. There were no deaths.
That's quite impressive, actually,
Yeah,
considering it's a nuclear power plant and that's like literally nobody had died. There was, wow. Oh,
yeah. Well,
oh, no.
and
There was one confirmed cancer death attributed to,
okay,
but that's it. One death. And that was from
yeah,
getting the radiation and causing cancer. Wow.
yeah. Well, we spoke about this before, like with Fukushima, like I guess like the Japanese culture in general. It's such a reversal from like Western civilization. So if the stories I was hearing was it was the old people went in there to clean it up. They started because, well, I guess their idea was, well, I've already experienced my life, like I've already enjoyed a life. Instead of sending the young people, it was the older citizens that actually came and helped clean it up. And that's like that's I don't know. Something's got to be said about that. It's quite
Admirable.
yeah, yeah. That's like yeah, beyond a selfless act.
Yeah. Wow.
Yeah, but yeah. So yeah, coronavirus and old people, hey? Or coronavirus, I meant
Sorry, guys.
old people being cut off.
Yeah, sorry, guys.
But
This is how our conversations end up sometimes. I don't know if it's the ADHD or I don't know. It's just it's one of those ADHD conversations. This literally
well,
starts in one place and ends in the other.
I think that's kind of how conversations go. They kind of flow and change. Mind you, I'm basically talking. So yeah. Um. All right. You want to move on to another story coming out of Alberta?
Sure. What you got
Okay.
for me?
Okay. So this is from Global, and it says, in quotes, "This is a travesty. Albertans protest COVID-19 rule rollback for a second day." For the second day in a row, hundreds of Albertans protested the provincial government's plan to lift mandatory COVID-19 isolation rules, scale back contact tracing, and limit testing. Rallies were held in Edmonton and Calgary on Saturday. The restriction rollback were announced on Wednesday, and effective July 29th, close contacts will no longer be notified of exposure by contact tracers nor will they be legally required to isolate. Asymptomatic testing is no longer recommended. On August 16th, infected individuals won't need to isolate. Isolation hotels will close as quarantine supports end. Good. Those fucking things shouldn't have been around. Period. Provincial mandatory masking orders will be lifted, but face coverings in some acute care facilities might be required. For Edmonton, in Alberta's capital city, approximately 250 people went to the legislature to protest on Saturday. Going to keep saying the same thing until the government listens, said Dr. Thiessen Ladha, assistant professor at the University of Alberta in the Faculty of Medicine. This time, with community organization and public protest, it really is owned by everyone who's there, and I think that's really the message. There have been so many decisions by the provincial government that people have been upset, angry, and anxious about. This rally is a culmination of everything. Yeah, so yeah, and they kind of continue on, saying that, the government giving your freedoms back. That the government, no. I've never heard at the time Canadian history where a jurisdiction has decided to put its entire population at risk from a deadly disease that can cause long-term disability. Okay, I think I've read enough. The irony and the irony in this, people protesting to limit their own freedoms.
Okay. I'm sorry. So people are protesting because they're starting to get their freedoms back. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in the beginning, when COVID hit, people are protesting because you have to wear masks and they were losing their freedoms. Now that they're starting to get them back, people are protesting for... How fucking stupid are people?
Obviously, these are two very different groups. These are two different groups.
Not the point.
But it's just so funny. Like the irony in you having the right to peaceably assemble and to petition your government. It's so funny because people were saying, "Oh, look at these people that are marching. Oh, what are they marching? What are they? Bunch of anti-vaxxers and they're a bunch of COVID idiots and all this stuff." It's where's the outrage on this side now? Look at it. Come on, be the change you want to see in the world. It's just the irony. The irony is, it's come on. I totally support them. Like protesting, do it, yeah. But just the irony in it. There's this these are the same kind of people that we're saying, no, you need to stay home. You can't. I don't know. Sorry. Okay, what were you gonna say?
I don't even fucking know anymore. This is ridiculous. I literally I'm staring blankly, just blinking slowly. You just want to stare at them and be like, what the hell? People always have to have something to complain about. They lose this, they lose that, people start protesting. Okay, well, hey, guess what? You're getting it back now. Oh, nay. Now let's start protesting again. Okay, so you're getting a little freaked out because things are you're starting to get freedoms and stuff back. That doesn't mean that you as an individual have to stop wearing your mask or stop self-isolating yourself, or you know what I mean, or sanitizing. You can do these things for yourself. You're a big boy and girl. I'm pretty sure you can take care of yourself. Yes. You know how to do these things.
And those that are non-conforming, don't fucking leave them out, piece of shit.
But it's nobody is saying you're not allowed to wear a mask or sanitize or, keep social distant. You can still do all that stuff. You as an individual can do these things. Why? Why do people have to complain about everything? I know, I get it. It's scary. We've been living so sheltered and kept in seclusion and stuff like that for over a year and a half now, and things are starting to lift up and it's a little scary. I get it. But you know what? You're a big boy and girl. You can take care of yourself. If something makes you a little nervous or apprehensive, you don't have to go into that store with all those people not wearing masks. If it doesn't make you comfortable, do online shopping. Get it delivered to your vehicle or delivered to your door. You can still wear masks. You can still sanitize. Stop the bullshit protesting. Like
Well,
just stop. You want to protest and stuff like that. I get it, okay? But stop crying about everything.
no, it's I understand. Like, it's such a, like I said, it's very ironic, and the fact that you are protesting the government giving your rights back.
Yeah.
Like, and people think about this. When the government takes your rights away, they sell them back as privileges. Just think about that for a minute. They took your rights away, and now they're giving them back to you as privileges. Do you understand how dangerous that is? And I will keep reiterating this. You Well, okay, so I guess I'll continue this little part here. So, when asked about the COVID-19 policies from the government and staffers, the province told Global News its policies are aligned with direction and guidance from the Chief Medical Officer of Health and in accordance with OHS, Occupational Health and Safety. Just under half of government workers are currently working remotely, and the vast majority will return to their workplaces in a phased approach starting next week and continuing until September 7th. Employees are free to continue to use face masks in the workplace as a personal choice, even if not required. This kind of seems almost like a Stockholm syndrome kind of thing. Like, you've been used and abused by your captors for so long that when you are given your freedoms, you say, no, I don't want it. It's too scary. Because now you have to start thinking for yourself, as where the government was telling you what to do.
Yeah.
But, like I said, people were saying that, oh, the anti-maskers, the anti-vaxxers, oh, the people that think this is all a pandemic. Well, so which one is right? Either the rights that you enjoy is for everyone, or it's for no one. And when it becomes this divide of, well, I can do it because I'm doing it for the right reason. As much as you might hate your enemy, if they are not offered the same protections, who are you? Who are you? It's it's just such a it's just so it's crazy to see that this is where we've come from. Remember, it was originally 15 days to flatten the curve. Then it was shutdowns. Look at where we've gone from 15 days to now looking at vaccine passports. That's where we have gone. That is how far our goalposts have moved. From 15 days to flatten the curve. And the reason that was done, so like, for everyone complains about it. I complain about it. Everyone does. Everyone with a fucking heartbeat. Our healthcare system is strained at the best of times. It's strained. A bad flu season overloads our hospitals. Our hospitals cannot take care of a bad flu season. And then for the 15 days, it was so our healthcare systems don't get overrun. So our government put these procedures in place. We went from 15 days to now vaccine passports.
Okay, so you keep mentioning a vaccine passport. So what is
Uh-huh.
your stance on a vaccine passport?
I think it's dumb.
And why?
We've so okay. So I will say, like when we were all kids, we all got the polio vaccine. Measles, mumps, and rubella,
Okay.
because those were devastating to people. Those were absolutely devastating. Those, like, I believe it was like the polio vaccine, like polio destroyed your immune system. It actively attacked the immune system. Where, say, like COVID is normally affecting people that are like that are the people that are having a worse reaction are typically people that are have a weaker immune system. I I don't see why having you need to have to having a piece of paper saying that I've I've gotten this done. I have had this procedure. We've never done something like that. Never.
Well, we never have in Canada, but something like a vaccine passport has been done previously in Germany.
Okay,
Now,
well, Germany is also, they're also the same country that told Jews to wear something on their arm and they wanted their papers.
okay, I
So this
get
is,
it,
and
but
everyone makes the same analogy. I'm going to make the very similar one. Germany at a certain time divided people into two classes. How did they describe the Jewish community? They said they carried disease. They said that they were greedy. That they're the reason why Germany is the way it. Think about that wording. Now these unvaccinated people are diseases. They're the reason why you don't have your freedoms. Do you see the divide that creates? And I've said it. I'll say it again because I have to keep reiterating this point. There are genuine concerns that people have. Some people can't get it. So when a government mandates that everyone needs to have it, and you need to have your papers in order to patron a business, fuck you.
okay,
Then I won't go.
okay, but you need to let me finish. In Germany, they've had a vaccine passport for a long time. Now, the reason behind the vaccine passport is when you go to other countries and stuff like that, say if you were to end up in a hospital, they can at least tell you or tell what exactly it is that you have been treated with or vaccinated for in previously already. Like they can see all that kind of stuff. Now, having a passport that shows all the kind of vaccines and stuff like that, um, that everybody has gotten from the time that they were a little kid till now, I don't really see that being something bad, especially when you're traveling to other countries. If it helps, like, show part of your medical record to other potential hospitals and stuff that you're in, I don't see the harm in that personally.
That's what your health card is for.
Okay,
Your
but not
health card
everywhere.
literally says that.
Our health card doesn't say right on it all the vaccines that we have had. It tells you
Okay,
our information, and they would need to contact Manitoba Health to find that stuff out. But if you're in another country, maybe they can't do something like that. It would show in your passport.
okay, why? So this comes down to somebody's privacy. There were story after story after story coming out of like the with the health guidelines that some people are medically exempt from wearing a mask. Well, what happened in a lot of these stories? They were kicked out, they were arrested, they were fined. So inherently you create a class system. You have the clean, the pure, and now you have the unwashed, diseased filth. It's nobody's business what I have in my body. It is nobody's business.
I mean, if it's something that would help with treatment, though, like how is that a bad
What
thing?
treatment? What treatment?
If you end up in another country,
You're what?
if you're in another country,
Okay, so what treatment?
well, depending, like, what if something were to happen and they're like, "Hey, this looks like signs of polio. I wonder if he's actually had the vaccine for that." And then being able to look and be like, "Oh, yeah, he actually was vaccinated for this. Okay, so it's not polio. Maybe it's blah blah blah." Like, if it helps diagnose something that you might have, is that really a bad thing?
Okay, so I'm okay because now we're talking about international travel, which is very different than
Yes.
operating within one country.
I'm not talking about operating within one country. I'm talking about international travel. Having it in your
Okay,
passport, because generally speaking, that's normally what you would use your passport for. Unless, of course, you're flying from one province to another, but just driving, you don't have to show your passport to anybody.
so unless I'm misunderstood, these vaccine passports were looked at for within provinces. This isn't international. This is within Canada.
So, well, that
That's
doesn't really sound like a vaccine passport to me. That, I mean, your passport is your passport. Do you know what I mean? Like, that's something that you would use, I guess, internally and internationally. But if it's something that's just internally, then yeah, you have the Manitoba health card. I don't know.
yeah, but so I don't get the argument. If you're leaving the country, like they say, oh well, we recommend this. That could be like a government's idea. Like, hey, if you're not, you should look at getting this. Like, if you're going to Mexico, you better get the what is it, Hep B, or Hep C shots,
It was Hep A and Hep B.
or
I mean, yeah,
yeah,
A and
whatever.
B when I went to Cuba. That's what I
Oh
needed
yeah,
to get.
hepatitis C is yeah,
That's
that's
sexually transmitted.
yeah.
Hmm. Well,
Well,
you
I don't
might
know.
want that one
It's
too. No, I'm just kidding.
certain places, but
Right?
that like okay. So I'm looking at. So this is from CTV News, and I don't know. Am I just completely out of touch? As COVID-19 vaccine rollouts continue and the numbers of those fully vaccinated increase, some regions in Canada and internationally are already starting to use or consider vaccine-based identification for certain services or to facilitate travel. In Canada, Manitoba has begun issuing proof of immunization cards. See, we already have this stuff. I become very, very skeptical, and I this is my anti-government slant is I was seeing what was it 79% of people are in favor of it for you to travel within Canada. Travel within
Uh,
Canada.
I mean, okay. Okay. The way that everything has been going on lately with it being dangled in front of you, your freedoms. So if someone says to me that you have to stay in Manitoba forever unless you get this vaccine passport to allow you to go to other provinces, which would then in
No,
turn allow what?
to enter a province.
Yes, that I
Alberta
said to
isn't
go
doing
to.
it.
So
Saskatchewan isn't doing it.
okay, regardless. If somebody is telling me that you have to have this passport in order to go into another province to leave Manitoba and go someplace else, um, yeah. If they're saying that there's no way that you can go someplace else, well, I have family that's in Saskatchewan. So, yeah, I would be in favor to get it because I would want to see my family, and
I,
for you yourself, that's your job. So you would,
no, I don't give a fuck. I don't care. It should be your own choice. It's I don't get why this is seen as an okay thing. You are limited from traveling within Canada. This is literally what I was saying last episode. Well, you can stay within this province, but you can't leave it. You can't leave this area. Now you can't leave your home unless you have this. How far do we want to go with it?
Oh, I didn't say it was right. All as I'm saying is if 79 people are in favor of it, if this is what's happening, if people are dangling in front of them that they can't go anywhere unless they do this, then I can
Told
understand
you.
why somebody would say be more in favor of it because they're like, well, do I want to be stuck in this province or do I want to be able to travel? Yeah, I want to be able to travel. So, okay, fine. Yeah, I'm in favor for it. I'll get it if I have to. I'm not saying it's right. Being forced to do something in any sort of way, whether it's getting a vaccine, whether it's getting a passport, whether it's whatever, as soon as it becomes mandated and you're being forced to do something, I don't think it's right. Everything should be free
No,
choice.
it's like I said, you shouldn't get your rights taken away, and then they're given back as privileges.
No, and I agree with that. I'm just on the other side, not on the other side, but I'm looking at it from the other perspective as to
Okay.
why would somebody be okay with this or whatever. Like, well,
No,
this is
I
fine.
get it, and this is my argument back. We are guaranteed; these are supposed to be guarantees. So here, I'll read this out from our Charter of Rights and Freedoms. Number 1. So this is line 1. Canadian Charter of Rights and Freedom guarantees the rights and freedoms set out in this subject. Only to such reasonable limits prescribed by law can be demonstrably justified in a free and democratic society. Prescribed in law as can be demonstrably justified. So there needs to be it's supposed to be a very high threshold. So, fundamental freedoms, democratic rights, the right to live and seek employment anywhere in Canada, legal rights, life, liberty, and personal security, equality, rights for all. Equal rights for all. Everyone has the following fundamental freedoms: freedom of conscience and religion. Remember when our glorious leader Theresa Tam was saying wrong think? We need to squash out wrong think. So you're not even allowed to think a different thought. Freedom of thought, belief, opinion, and expression, including freedom of the press and other media of communication. Freedom of peaceful assembly and freedom of association. That is Section 1 and Section 2 of our Charter of Rights. So, you do not have the freedom of thought. You do not have the freedom to peaceably assemble. It was outlawed. You do not have the freedom of association. You could not choose who you got to sit around with. So this is why, like, our freedoms were taken from us and are given back as privileges. Once you get this, wow, now you can go visit your friends. Oh, you want to leave? You want to leave this province? You may need a piece of paper now to do it, even though our charter says that we are entitled to this. The scary thing is, as I said, and I'll keep saying, there's an asterisk next to it.
Yeah. I mean, I totally get that. I seen this coming. When talking with my friend who is from Germany, both of us seen this coming that it was going to end up turning into a well, this needs to be done before you're going to be able to travel. And I'll tell you, that's one of the only reasons why her and her husband got it is because they travel a lot. So in
Yeah.
order for them to be able to travel, they didn't want to lose that right to be able to travel. So they got the
No,
vaccine.
I know, and I get it, but this is the slippery slope.
Oh yeah.
So I know we've talked about this a lot. Excuse me, but all right, let's end on some good stuff. The stuff that I need this in my life. I need it.
Okay.
Okay, are you ready?
Yeah.
Are you sitting down? Because I'm about to blow your fucking tits off.
Yeah, I'm sitting and I'm holding on.
Birdsaren'treal.com.
What?
This is their statement on their website. Did you know that the United States government systematically slaughtered every bird in North America and replaced them with surveillance drone replicas? No. How much did it cost you to attend college? How much did you really learn? Despite the birds aren't real movement reaching millions of people online and being slammed in Newsweek 4 or 5 times, only a fraction of people can compute this information. What if we told you that you could learn 10 times as much in only an hour and a half for the price of one ticket? It's supposed to be take a breath, proofread, take breath, and get ready to pinch open your mind eye. Become a knowledge disciple and study under movement representative Peter McIndoe and associates as they peel back your veil of ignorance. Non-credited, no prerequisites. People of low IQ and low skill level, welcome.
Hold on. What? Like, this can't be real.
Yep.
Birds aren't real.
Yeah.
Okay. So the bird feeder that we have and the birds that I'm feeding drones. They're not
Yep.
real.
Yeah. You're feeding into the government's watch.
But
You think you're doing it. Isn't it weird that all the crows, or I mean all the squirrels, try to go after the bird feeder? Some birds, maybe it's just how they're programmed.
You would think if, let's just say, these birds are drones, they wouldn't need food, right? So why even put up the front and have them sit at bird feeders and eat the food?
That's a lie. It's all a lie.
Oh, okay. So then, if all the birds are gone, that means that there'd be no chicken, which means that there'd be no chicken eggs. So where are these eggs coming from?
No. But those are all like in factory farms.
So if birds aren't real, those are birds.
But they're all in cages. They're not free. They're all in cages.
Yeah, but it says nothing about it. It says birds aren't real. It doesn't say that there are some birds that are still alive, but they're in factories. No, it says there are no birds, that the government killed them all. All. Every bird in North America and replace it with surveillance drone. So if they killed every bird, that would include chickens. So then what are we eating?
Oh, you're eating chicken. I don't get why you don't understand this. I don't like no, they're saying that the normal birds, like the birds that you see flying around, they aren't real.
But they don't specify that, is all I'm saying. So I'm just picking apart this little paragraph that they have here.
Well, no, but I just explained it to you. Chickens, all the birds that we consume, they're in farms. They're not keeping a surveillance. All right, you ready? You ready for one more thing to blow your mind?
Are we off this weird bird thing? Are we going to go to this thing and find out how birds aren't real?
From Scientific America. Are we eating cloned meat?
Well, there you go.
Cloning has been controversial since Scottish scientists announced in 1996 they had cloned their first mammal. You remember Dolly the sheep?
I do.
While Dolly lived a painful, arthritic life and died prematurely, possibly due to the imperfections of cloning, industry nonetheless began seeking out ways to capitalize on the new technology. Meanwhile, critics bemoan cloning as immoral and a potential health and safety risk, given the as yet unknown consequences of eating food generated in this way. In January of 2008, the U.S. Food and Drug Administration approved the sale of cloned animals and their offspring for food, despite fierce opposition from animal welfare and consumer advocacy groups, environmental organizations, some members of Congress, and many others. Unsurprisingly, industry groups also argue that beef and milk from cloned animals is safe to consume. They cite a 2005 University of Connecticut study which concluded that beef and milk from cloned cows did not pose any health or safety threats to people consuming it. Given the FDA's green light, consumers' only hope of avoiding cloned animal products may be to appeal to businesses directly, not to peddle such items. The Pennsylvania-based American Anti-Vivisection Society, which opposes all forms of animal research and testing, has mounted a campaign to urge McDonald's to forego cloned animals in its 30,000 restaurants worldwide. Yeah, we eat cloned meat, and the birds are watching us.
Oh my god.
Uh-huh. Now, the real question is, which one am I bullshitting about? Bum, bum, bum.
One of them is a bullshit.
No, I don't know. I'm just
I'm
trying
like,
to.
I just looked up the birds thing, so that's why I was arguing with you on that one. Huh.
No, this birds aren't real. They've really opened up my eyes. I've never thought of it that way.
Yeah.
Yeah, I've never thought of it.
Well, I mean, you travel into the state, so it looks like they got some tours going on in Kansas, Illinois, and Pennsylvania. So maybe you can drop by one of them. Get
Yeah,
brainwashed.
no, they make a very convincing argument. Their whole their history and the reason for it. It's
What exactly is their history? I mean, they literally have a paragraph.
unless you guys want to listen to me read for the next hour and a
Oh
half.
shit. Oh my bad.
Yeah.
I
So
thought that was the only thing. Oh,
yeah,
okay.
no.
Yeah, no, we're good. This is really long, so let's not. Eyes in the sky.
Yeah. All right, so there was some wonderful stories from around Canada and around the world, and it's I think that was a wonderful way to end the episode. Learn about cloned meat, and the birds are watching you.
Yeah, birds aren't real,
So
guys.
what?
I said, yeah, birds aren't real, guys. They're just, they're just clones. So now all those people who think that they're the center of the universe, they can go on thinking that even more so because, well, the birds are watching them. So clearly their lives are that interesting to the government that the government has to spy on you.
Well, with a lot of the new laws that have been passed in the United States, and hey, look at this COVID passport that you need now. Just an easier way for them to track you.
Right?
Doesn't help that we have these GPS systems strapped to us. So,
right? That's always listening.
Yeah. All right. So with that, let's wrap this up. Let's get out of here.
All right. Well, thanks for listening, guys, if you made it all the way through this. And that was our episode 6. And we will see you again.
All right. Okay. Bye, everyone.
Bye, everyone. Have a good night.